Alrighty guys, hi, welcome back to my channel. If this is the first video that you're seeing from me, my name is Kendra. I am a recent, not so recent college grad. I graduated in 2020 with my bachelor's in biochemistry, and I do a whole bunch of different content on this channel, including college tips. I also do some storytime videos, organizational videos, different things, art videos on this channel. So if you're interested in any of those other videos, I have playlists in the description box as well as linked in the cards. So you can go to my channel and subscribe and check out those playlists. If you guys are seeing the title of this video and you're clicking for the title, I want to remind you guys to please like this video, share it if you think it's worth sharing, and let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I want to preface what I'm going to say with the fact that I have been consuming anti-MLM content since 2020, so probably summer of 2020. And before I started watching anti-MLM content on YouTube, I didn't know very much about MLMs at all, like whatsoever. I was suggested an anti-MLM video on YouTube after I had watched a video from Raw Beauty Christie talking about how she wanted to eventually get into making a very large anti-MLM video explaining why she was anti-MLM. And that really piqued my interest, and so I would say maybe like a week or so after that, I was suggested a video by Kiki Chanel, which she used to do a lot of anti-MLM content, not so much anymore on YouTube. But I started getting into her anti-MLM playlist, and then it became like a special interest for me. So I kind of hyper fixated on a lot of anti-MLM content on YouTube, and I started getting into watching videos from other videos from anti-MLM creators, including CC Suarez, Hannah Alonso, Deanna Mims, Isabella Lanter. Those are just some of the main creators I watch for anti-MLM content on YouTube. However, I wanted to make this video today mainly because the FTC is opening comments about MLMs in general and basically trying to make the business guidelines for MLMs stricter. So some of the creators on YouTube have been promoting ways that you can craft a comment to the FTC and why it's important that you do that. The deadline is May 10th of 2022, so that is about a week and a half from today. I have already sent my comment into the FTC, and that was made much easier by a video on Jessica Hickson's YouTube channel. She also creates anti-MLM content, but she was in It Works for 5 years. So she has experience from inside the MLM for a long period of time, and she made her way pretty high up in the company before she left. So she did a collab with another creator, and I'm forgetting her name at the moment, but they had basically crafted a comment creator function on the internet. So you can go to this page and you can fill in the prompted boxes and basically craft a comment to send into the FTC. Now, I will preface that by saying that I had written way too much to fit in the box that the FTC has on their page. I don't know the exact word count limit, but I was over the limit by like 4,000 characters. So if you're gonna craft a comment for the FTC, just keep that in mind. Like, maybe shorthand some things, put that into the box, and then see where you're at in the word count, because I didn't know that there was a word count. Now, from my personal experience, I have never personally been in an MLM, but I have been tried to be recruited into one, and that was Southwestern Advantage, and as a sophomore in college. A lot of the anti-MLM creators have different playlists on their channels, different styles of videos where you can send in a MLM horror story. So if you've been like attempted to be recruited into one, or if you've been in one, or if you lost a lot of money in one, or if you know somebody who has, you can basically write your story and send it in an email to pretty much any of these creators, and they have different style videos where they read MLM horror stories. So I actually had written my MLM horror story, and I sent it into Hannah Alonso. She's one of my personal favorites, and she's doing a giveaway on her channel. So she's giving away merch. She's doing like a raffle. So if you've sent in your comment to the FTC, you write on one of her community posts that you have done that, and then she puts all of those comments in a random comment generator, and she will pick a random winner to win some merch from her. So that night when I saw that community post, I went and I crafted my comment to the FTC because I have been procrastinating it, obviously. But basically how I crafted the main portion of it was that I took my anti-MLM horror story and I pasted that and kind of structured my comment off of my story. So I'm going to today read you the comment that I sent into the FTC, and I'm going to have all of the stuff that Jessica Hickson explained in her video linked in my description box as well. Her video will be linked down there, so make sure you go check out her video. And if you are someone who's been affected by an MLM, or if you know someone who's been affected by an MLM and you want to write a comment to the FTC, please use that function, and every comment counts, even if you are someone like me who's never personally been in one. But I know a lot of people who have, and I've been attempted to be recruited into one. So if you have a story similar to mine or even worse, the FTC wants to hear from you. So please, please, please do that. We're really trying to get some harder restrictions put on these companies because a lot of people lose a lot of money in MLMs. One of the main reasons that I'm anti-MLM simply is that the rate of actually making any money is like abysmal. There are certain companies that are worse than others, but generally around 95% of people will lose money in an MLM. The business structure is unethical. Basically what you're doing when you join an MLM is you are paying to start a business, which is not your business. You are a contracted employee. And all of that money is being funneled towards the top, so the people at the very top of the MLM are making bank, and everybody else below them in their downline is either losing money or making very, 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 very little money, especially like way under minimum wage. There are some MLMs that I've seen on my personal page. Young Living is a big one, and that is one of the worst ones. I think I heard a statistic where the average consultant for Young Living makes like 31 cents an hour. So obviously not making very much money, and there are monthly requirements on inventory. So you don't necessarily have to hold inventory, but you have like a certain amount of sales that you have to make per month, and there's no guideline or restriction on whether or not those sales have to be from outside customers or yourself. So basically you can what's called rank buy, which means you can purchase all that stuff yourself in order to rank up. So all of the stuff points that you are getting are coming out of your own pocket. So you're losing money to try to gain more money in the company.
Also, can we just talk about the overconsumption that is pushed by these companies when they basically encourage you to buy way more things from the company than you could ever possibly use on your own just to advance in the company, rank up, or even maintain rank. Like, I know a lot of channels talk about overconsumption and capitalism and things like that, but MLM companies are one of the biggest drivers for overconsumption simply because of this, because a lot of companies don't have any guidelines on how many of your points each month have to be from outside customers. It really just encourages people to rank buy and pour all of their money out of their own pockets into consuming and buying all of these products that they'll never be able to use. And then those in turn get thrown away or placed in a landfill or whatever else. And there's also not a lot of guidelines on how you should go about disposing of some of these products. For example, if they're makeup products or things that have expired, sometimes there are guidelines on how you are supposed to get rid of or dispose some of the ingredients in those products, but you know that these people aren't following those guidelines, so it just leads to a lot of overpollution and landfill dumping and a lot of things that I just haven't seen a lot of anti-MLM creators talk about on their channel, which I don't know if that's just because that's not something that they have done a lot of research on or know a lot about, or if it's something like kind of like taboo to talk about capitalism and anti-capitalism things on YouTube. But anyway, I thought I would throw that in here.
So I have a lot of people who I know personally who have done this, including my mother-in-law. She was in Saint, and she lost a ton of money just buying makeup and trying to rank advance when It just is statistically almost impossible in a lot of these companies. That's not to say that the product is always bad, but the product is a guise to build the pyramid under a lawful structure. Lawful, I say as in, you know, it's not technically illegal, but it's definitely immoral, and pyramid schemes are illegal. So those are just some of the main reasons that I'm anti-MLM. So I'm going to go ahead and get into reading what I sent into the FTC. So this is just my guideline. Your story and your comment does not have to be in any way similar to this. But if you do have a story that's similar to this, just know that no matter how long of a comment you write or how crazy your story is, it doesn't matter. The FTC wants to hear from you. And this is the first time in, I believe, like 10 years that the FTC has opened up comments about MLMs. So basically what we're trying to do by sending in all these comments is, one of the main things is to force MLMs and companies like this to provide all incoming recruits with a income disclosure statement, meaning all potential recruits have to know average that consultants make, and a lot of this information is either not provided by these companies or is extremely outdated. For example, Monate hasn't released their income disclosure statement for 2021 yet, and we're already in May of 2022. So the most recent income disclosure you can find from that company is from 2020, and while the 2020 income disclosure statement isn't promising per se, it was one of their best years because of the pandemic. So I think that's one of the reasons that they're kind of dragging their feet releasing the one for 2021, because they are imploding currently, and they lost a lot of consultants in 2021, and I just heard from other channels that they've lost at least 40,000 in the past couple of months, which is insane. It's just very shady and deceiving. So a lot of companies either don't release them at all, or if they do, they're extremely outdated.
Hi, Editing Kendra here to say that it's no coincidence that a lot of these companies do really well in the United States, where healthcare isn't a guaranteed right, and also parental leave, maternity leave, and paternity leave aren't guaranteed. That's why a lot of these companies do so well in the United States when they're guaranteeing basically time freedom is what they claim. They're guaranteeing that with this opportunity of the business. So work from anywhere, have time with your family, be able to stay at home with your children, things like that are things that these consultants and distributors guarantee with their opportunity with the company. And it's no coincidence why these companies do so well in the United States, where a lot of these things aren't a guaranteed right. They're not regulated by the federal government. So that's one of the main reasons that they do better in the United States than they do elsewhere, especially like the UK, Australia, places where they have parental leave and they also have healthcare as a guaranteed right by the government. So it's very predatory to be preying on Americans and other people who need healthcare or who need parental leave or who need an opportunity to work from home, which is why this exploded in 2020. However, given that more companies are offering work from home positions since 2020, that's another one of the reasons why so many distributors are dropping off, not only due to the fact they're losing a ton of money, but also because there are actual reputable companies who are offering work from home positions now after the pandemic, which is good, because I feel like there's no reason that there shouldn't be as many work from home positions now anymore. But that's just one of the reasons why this is really a really predatory practice, and a lot of the income claims and lifestyle claims that these distributors are touting around to try to get people to join their company are predatory and not true.
They kind of sell you on the idea of an opportunity rather than, you know, what it actually is. Not to mention the amount of taxes you have to pay back at the end of the year, because those are not factored in whenever they're paying you. Just all of the things. I mean, I could go on and on explaining all of these terrible things and practices that are done by MLMs, but there are a ton of channels on YouTube already that are doing that, so I will have those linked down below as well if you want to check out any of those channels, my favorite anti-MLM creators. I am not an anti-MLM channel. This is just something that I am extremely passionate about, and I wanted to kind of give you guys an example of what your comment can look like when you comment to the FTC if you are someone who watches these channels as well. And especially if you've been dragging your feet, because we only have about a week and a half left before the deadline, so now would be a good time to go ahead and crack that. So, okay, So the comment creator has a couple of different boxes where it prompts you to write your experience. So I have a personal experience box, and I'm going to read to you my personal experience. So like I said, I've never been personally in an MLM, but I was almost recruited into what I now know was Southwestern Advantage as a sophomore in college. So I couldn't remember the actual name of this MLM for the longest time until I watched Hannah Alonso's MLM video, which is MLM Horror Stories number 6. And I watched that a few months ago, and somebody had sent in an MLM horror story about Southwestern Advantage, and I had basically never had any channel ever be sent an MLM horror story about Southwestern Advantage. So I had like never heard anyone talk about it. Southwestern Advantage is kind of like a door-to-door salesman company. So you're a contracted employee and you go door to door to sell educational books to just random households. It's kind of like Kirby Vacuums, but for books. And we all know that Kirby Vacuum is an absolutely horrible fucking company. But so this experience happened in 2018 when I was a sophomore at UTK. So careers in STEM, especially for women, are very competitive, and I was looking for an internship that could be good to put on a resume and also make me a lot of money, because as we know, a lot of internships are unpaid, which again is immoral. But it happens, and so I was always on the lookout for some sort of summer internship that I could do that would be good to put on a resume and that can make quite a bit of money. So one day in 2018, I was sitting in one of my chemistry lectures, and I was waiting for class to begin, and someone was walking around with flyers about an internship opportunity. This happens quite a lot, and not all of them are MLM scams. Before I was like attempted to be recruited into this one, I generally trusted the people that the lecturers allowed to hand out things in their classrooms, so it never even once crossed my mind that this could be an MLM or a scam. So with that in mind, I took the flyer and I jotted down my email, and they collected the flyers again, and then class went on as usual. So later that day, I received an email about the internship saying that there was going to be a seminar later in the week that explained how the internship worked. So I decided to attend. I was actually really excited to get more information about this, because like I said, I was looking for a good paying internship. I had told my mom and my now husband about this and how excited I was about it, and they were excited for me to get more information about it as well. The seminar was actually being held on campus. It was being held in the HSS building, which is where a lot of the arts and humanities classes are held. So I walked into the classroom, and there was a bunch of recruiters there. The main one being the person who was handing out flyers in the classroom, and they had a PowerPoint presentation pulled up on the big slide. And there were a lot of people waiting in the hallway, so there were a lot of people that were interested in this seminar. So as the seminar went on, I was kind of seeing more and more red flags. The rep was trying really hard to sell us on the opportunity rather than the business itself. So it was like going door to door in Texas for this specific summer, trying to sell textbooks, and it didn't sound fun at all or revenue producing really at all, because how many people want to buy an educational book on a whim? Not very many people. The person giving the seminar just kept saying how much hard work it would be, but how rewarding it would be, and how it would be the chance to gain personal development, which is a buzz phrase in a lot of MLM communities. And also, the company didn't provide housing or transportation to get there, like, whatsoever. So in order to get housing, you had to like find a host family somewhere in Texas and provide your own transportation to get there, and then to and from the houses that you were going to be selling books to. So trying to find a host family and being isolated away from my family and my boyfriend at the time did not sound safe. And it seemed like they were really trying too hard to sell the opportunity to me. Like, if it was a good opportunity, they wouldn't have to be trying to pitch it so hard. And like I said, at this time I knew nothing about MLMs. So by the end of the seminar, I decided to decline the offer. The person who gave the seminar had gone around the classroom and asked everyone whether or not they'd be willing to join. Some people said yes, but I bluntly pointed out that some of these things that he was saying were inconsistent, and I told him I didn't feel that this was a good opportunity for me. So he seemed to take personal offense to me declining his offer to join. So I walked out of the room, and he followed me. He kind of got in my face, and he basically said that I sounded scared of the idea of working hard for the company and joining, And I said that I wasn't scared, I just knew a scam when I saw one, and this sounded very fishy to me. So I grabbed my backpack and I left. And I could not get over how forceful and angry he was, and he got in my face about this. Like, he got in my face about something as trivial as not wanting to be in an internship. Like, it just seemed like he was gaining something personally by me joining. You know, it wasn't like, this is a good opportunity for you to take it. It was like, this will be good for me if you join under me, you know. I think that Southwestern Advantage in particular is sneaky because the reps come to the college campus and pitch the opportunity as a summer internship that can earn you a few $1,000s. In this case, they had claimed that you could earn up to $8,000 in one summer selling books door to door, which I don't think is accurate whatsoever. The company preys on vulnerable college students who need money and experience to put on a resume. Not only that, but as a student, I was more inclined to trust this opportunity was legitimate due to the fact that my chemistry professor allowed the rep to speak in our class to hand out flyers for the company. I trusted that any internship opportunity that was pitched to me on my college campus was likely not a scam. It was that blind trust that caused me to walk into that seminar that afternoon. So that was my personal experience. Earnings claims. So the distributor for Southwestern Advantage claimed that I would be making approximately $8,000 during the summer of 2018. However, I have also witnessed other distributors for other companies making income claims, such as making enough money as the sole provider of the family that one could retire their husband, living a lavish life and comfortable lifestyle, making a full-time income on part-time work, being able to make money from home while taking care of their children, being able to afford gas, groceries, takeout vehicles, homes, and other items, claiming that the MLM was a side hustle to contribute to their main income. While many of the distributors I've come across have claimed that MLMs can not make one rich overnight, I have witnessed them claim one could become a millionaire in a few short years with a company, which is statistically nearly impossible. So that's what I put under income claims. Lifestyle claims. The distributor of Southwest Advantage made some smaller lifestyle claims, such as being able to afford college tuition, cars, etc. with the approximately $8,000 we could make per summer. However, I have witnessed other distributors making larger claims, such as paying off large amounts of debt, paying off a mortgage, buying expensive vehicles, being gifted or purchasing expensive jewelry, being able to take lavish vacations either on their own volition or with the company, and being able to take time off work whenever they wanted in order to spend time with family members. I'm going to pause to take a drink because this is a lot of speaking. Okay, moving on to business costs. So I was not informed of any business costs associated with joining Southwestern Advantage, aside from contracting my own food, housing, and travel expenses in order to get to Texas. Housing arrangements were to be arranged by me and not by the company. However, I do know that other companies such as Monate and Saint, for example, have starter kits that can cost anywhere from $199 to $399. Some companies such as Young Living have monthly purchase requirements that must be met in order to remain eligible for commission. When you factor these costs in, most distributors are likely losing a good amount of money per year, not to mention how much they pay back in taxes. Selling and sales. I never actually joined or sold any products for Southwestern Advantage, but the distributor did assure me that the books were easy to sell if one worked hard enough and that the books were better than others. He claimed that he and other distributors had sold thousands of books during their time with the company and gave testimonials on their larger sales. Going door to door to sell educational books seemed counterproductive, as I don't see many people buying a product like that on a whim, especially not with the price of the books themselves. Also, the hours were long and distributors had to pay for their own gas and transportation to these homes, so if the distributors were not able to make enough sales, they were likely paying out of pocket to work for the company. Actual outcomes. I have heard stories from many people claiming that they initially thought that the MLM would allow them to make a full-time income, a supplement income, or even make them rich, including some of my own friends and family members, my mother-in-law as an example. However, my mother-in-law, who was in Saint, ended up spending so much money on the starter kit and other makeup items every month in order to rank up or maintain rank that she ended up losing money. She spent so much time on Zoom calls, messaging people, making her own social media accounts and pages for her business, and even designing and purchasing her own business cards just to lose money on the MLM. She claimed that she could really make good money if she just spent more time working with the company and invested more, but that was not the case. The last comment section is for recommendations and ideas. So I put that I felt that MLM companies should be required to present potential new distributors with an income disclosure statement before joining, as well as have a mandatory waiting period that the potential distributor has to wait before officially joining the MLM. This is another suggestion made by a lot of anti-MLM creators on YouTube, including Jessica Hickson. So I want to say, I also feel that the MLM distributors should not be allowed to make income claims without penalty. A lot of companies claim that this is in their company statement. You are not allowed to make income claims, but people still get away with it all the time. I also feel that the startup costs should not be required, and neither should the monthly cost to maintain commission eligibility. So that is my entire comment. I had to cut a bulk of that out because, like I said, I was way over the word count on the comment crafter. So yeah, that was my entire comment that I made in the actual comment crafter before I submitted it to the FTC. But a lot of that had to go. Kind of just got straight to the point without, you know, all the extra stuff. So that is what I wanted to talk about today. Please put in the comments any of your personal experiences, whether or not you have also submitted your comment to the FTC, whether or not you're thinking about it. If this video has persuaded you to do so, let me know. And also let me know what your favorite MLM creator on YouTube is, if you have one, anti-MLM creator. Other than that, feel free to subscribe to my channel, like this video, check out my other playlists. I edit for another channel here on YouTube called Everything Autos, so check out their channel as well. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.